Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all onto this call. My name is Kapil Dhawan, and I am from Herbalife Training and Education team. A very warm welcome to all of you. So before we head into the session, let me just set the ground rules and let me just quickly share my PPT with you. Just allow me a minute. All right, there we go. So, firstly, please note that no photography, no videography allowed on this call. Yes, we have translations which are being provided on this call. It's available in 6 languages. Yes, you heard me right. It's available in 6 languages: Hindi, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, and Bengali. And if you want to click Bengali, what you need to do is you need to select the option which shows Spanish. All right. And today, if you ask me, yes, we have a topic which is something which is very important because today we are exploring an often overlooked topic, despite it being critically important. Yes, we are talking about men's health. And today on this webinar, we are privileged, we are lucky because we have two distinguished speakers. So let me just introduce them to you. So the first speaker, let me take the honor of introducing the first speaker. The first speaker is someone who's a qualified surgeon with over 30 years of experience in the medical line. And he has special interest in laparoscopic surgery in the areas of complex hernia, bariatrics, surgery department. And he takes a lot of interest in Herbalife as well. He's been associated with Herbalife for the past 25 years. Please welcome Executive Presence team, Dr. Sanjay Chore on the call.
Thank you so much, Kapil. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. We're so happy to have you here. And also, at the same time on this call, I am also joined by my fellow colleague. Well, she's part of the training and education team, and she's a nutritionist, pan-India nutritionist with Herbalife. She's member of Herbalife's Global Dietary Advisory Board. She's a qualified naturopathy doctor, and she's also certified in sports nutrition. Well, please welcome Dr. Bindushri Bhandari on this call.
Thank you so much, Kapil. Good evening, Dr. Sanjay Chore.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. It's lovely to have
panel with me.
It's lovely to have you, doctor. And so today it's like I'm accompanied by two doctors. It's lovely to have you both on the call. And yes, we have our lovely Herbalife family who's going to join us. So we are expecting close to 20,000 people who will be logging on to this call. I already say almost close to 8,000 people have already logged on to this call. Wonderful. Great. So starting with the topic that we have. So let's begin. So if I have to talk about, I know that we are talking about men's health in particular, doctor. And in today's fast-paced world, when we talk about, I think men often juggle between multiple roles that we see. So while navigating the pressures of career, you can say family, societal expectations, I strongly feel that men in particular, somehow they become very casual, very complacent with their health. Their health, in fact, takes a backseat. And the silent toll of, you can say, chronic stress, emotional suppression, or neglect of adequate care, and at the same time, not having the best of nutrition or having a very sedentary lifestyle, it has just led to some growing crisis, especially amongst men. So today on this call, and I would want to tell all the members from Herbalife family who've joined us, I think it's very crucial for us to recognize that men's health is not solely a personal issue, but a collective concern. It's not that since I'm a male, I need to be focused around this. No. Why? Because even for all the ladies who've joined onto this call, let me tell you, whether it's your husband, father, brother, friend, I think their well-being impacts families and communities alike. So the whole purpose of today's session is to have a very open conversation. As I said, I would reiterate, yes, we are lucky. We have Dr. Sanjay Chore with us. We also have our nutritionist, Dr. Bindushri. And the idea is to look at some proactive health measures and create the awareness through which men become more informed and start prioritizing their health. So let's start. And the first question that I have for our panel is, Dr. Sanjay, this is for you. So, what, according to you, are the key pillars of long term health that every Indian man should focus on? And why do you believe these pillars are essential in the context that I just spoke about? Over to you, doctor.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that question. I would say there are four key pillars of long-term health. I would first of all list physical health. Number two, nutritional health. Number three, mental and emotional health. And last but not the least, sexual and hormonal health. Now, when I talk about these four things, physical, nutritional, mental or emotional, and sexual, you also have to understand that all four of these are somehow connected to each other. They are interdependent. So you can't have one and you can neglect the other three. And if you just go by the ancient, Indian wisdom, they say that to achieve long-term health, you need to focus on, ahar, vihar, vichar, and achar. So ahar is food, nutrition. Vihar is recreation. Actually, sair, that is what vihar means. Vichar is your mental health, your thoughts, and achar is your routine. Because if you don't have a routine, that means you're not doing something daily for yourself, and health does not come suddenly one evening you think about health and the next day you get health. There's another very interesting, English acronym, if you are interested. It says it makes sense. So sense stands for sleep, exercise, nutrition. The last is stress elimination. So everything actually is interconnected and it boils down to the same basic few things.
Oh, well, Dr. Sanjay, I think that was like you just hit the nail on the head right from the very start. I loved it. So, ahar, vihar, vichar, achar. That's a wonderful way to put it forth. And also, what you just mentioned about the sleep and also stress elimination, which is so very important. And I'm sure Dr. Bindu will also agree with me on this, what Dr. Sanjay beautifully just lamented upon.
True, Kapil, and very truly said Dr. Sanjay, it is very important to all of these parameters, how our nutrition, our stress elimination, our exercise, all of these are interconnected to our health. It's very, very important to keep this balance, because at this point of time in this current generation, we are seeing a lot of health issues, which is because of not keeping our parameters, our key pillars in place, which we are going to talk about a little bit more in our session right now.
Yeah, thank you. So, I just what you just spoke about, Dr. Sanjay and Bindu, these pillars, what you just mentioned, I think they are all interconnected. What you rightly said, because if I neglect even one aspect, it can have an impact on the other. So, say for example, if on a particular night I've had a poor sleep, that will affect my mental health probably the next day, which in turn will influence my physical activity or even my nutrition choices. So it's so very important to strive for balance across these areas, and individual can work accordingly towards a holistic health and a well-being. So true, so true. That was lovely. Dr. Sanjay, we spoke about ahar, we spoke about nutrition. We have been talking about nutrition, balanced nutrition, especially in Herbalife, optimum nutrition. And I do think that one of the important keys happens to be balanced nutrition. But I also want to share with you certain statistics which also talk about that India has the second highest number of overweight or obese adults, which is as per the data of 2021, and wherein some 180 million people are affected. Now, 180 million people, I would want to tell my audience on the who have joined us that it is 18 crore people who are affected, who are in the category of obese or overweight. And there was a study which was found by Lancet, which said that the number of obese that we have it's gonna become almost 2.5 times in the next coming years. So if you can see the slide, here it is. This is exactly what I was mentioning and referring to. You can see for yourself. So that is something which is like pretty big number that we're looking at. So this number could soar to 450 million, which is 45 crore people by 2050. So which is nearly a third of country's projected population. Now, the question that I have, I know Dr. Sanjay and Bindu, we talk about being obese, we talk about being overweight, but we Indians, we love our carb-rich diet. So our GNP philosophy talks about having a 30% protein, 40% carb, 30% fat. But Dr. Sanjay, the moment I get the aroma of somebody preparing samosas, kachori, pav bhajis, somehow my mind wavers and I fall prey to my desire to have these delicacies. So I do understand we are also consuming less of protein and more of carb, which we have seen. But the question that I have today is a bit different. It is more to do with also how we manage our stress, because chronic stress is also not good, because people tend to put on weight, and probably you'll be able to help us understand that. But my question is, there was another study which found out that amongst the Indian men, 12% of Indian men are known for something like a pot belly. They have a spot belly. Earlier, this was a badge of prosperity. People used to say, oh, this person is very prosperous. That's why that person is doing well in his life. That's why that person has got a pot belly. But today, having a pot belly, it's an indication of health dangers which are going to come your way in future. So my question to you is, doctor, as to why this pot belly syndrome, which is noticed in most of the Indian males in particular, if I have to talk about, and how can we mitigate this problem that we have?
Wonderful. So I agree and disagree with your 12% pot belly statistic, because I don't know what parameters they use to identify a pot belly. But there are many more Indians who have something of a belly, which you may not call a pot belly. And the problem with Indians is, on threefold. Number one, we don't have good genes. So our genes are not very good. We are genetically predisposed to having problems which are connected with obesity. And that is why worldwide, if you look at the BMI cutoff, they call it a 25 BMI cutoff for obesity. For South Asia, it has been decided that the cutoff for the BMI should be 23 and not 25. Because at the same weight and same levels of obesity, an Indian will have more health problems as compared to a Caucasian who is the same height, same weight, same BMI. Now, number one is genes. Number two is your diet. Kapil has just said that, something, the smell of frying pakoras or whatever, chole bhature. I think in North India, chole bhature is one of the most attractive snack, will make you, your resolve will break down. Now, the second thing is diet. We have a very poor diet, and poor diet means it is not as if we can't afford a good diet, but it is the content of our diet is so bad in protein and fiber. They have found that India is one of the least protein consuming countries in the world. And it is not because protein is not available, but it is because we are not aware where to find our protein. That is number one. So so genes and diet. And the third one is, of course, our activity. We are one of the laziest countries in the world. Laziest countries. I mean, I often make a joke about the people buying scooties. I guess there is no, I have not carried out a survey on this, but 50% of the people who buy scooties is because they don't want to walk into the narrow lanes in their neighborhood. They want to go everywhere on either 2 or 4 wheels. They don't want to walk. So we are one of the laziest countries in the world. So lack of exercise, lack of protein in their diet, and number three, we are designed to get these problems. Our genes are poor. Now, the problem with your pot belly, by the way, Kapil, is that it is not just fat, because fat all over the body is not good, but fat on your abdomen, your belly fat, is the worst fat, because this is not just lying, quiet in one corner. It is chemically active. And so it is responsible for inflammation. It is responsible for things like insulin resistance. So diabetes, heart attacks, in subco, you are giving an invitation by having fat on your belly. And that is one of the huge problems that Indians are facing today.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay, for enlightening us on this. And I was having a word with Dr. Bindu Shri, and we were discussing about that normally. So, Doctor, what you said is to do with the genes, but at the same time, our coping mechanism at times is not all that great, what I feel. Because what happens is the moment I'm under pressure, there is a release of cortisol hormone. And Bindu told me that, Kapil, the moment the cortisol goes up, you know what? There is a lot of deposition of fat around the abdomen. So, Bindu, you would want to further throw some light on this?
Sure, Kapil. So basically, as our stress hormones increases, also our as our stress increases, our cortisol also increases, and that also affects our hunger hormones, like the ghrelin, which also is our hunger hormone, which makes us hungry, and the aspect of stress eating also comes from there, right? So we are trying to comfort ourselves through food as well, and that is also very common in Indians. Plus, like how Dr. Sanjay mentioned, it's also the physical activity, the inactivity being there, being not able, not going for any kind of physical activity, not even spending even for at least 40 minutes for an exercise, or not wanting to even go for a walk, or avoiding the small lanes and opting for vehicles and all. These are all reasons to avoid the exercise or any kind form of activity. So that also causes this the abdominal obesity. Also, along with that, it is also seen that it's not just the food, because of stress you're eating wrong when you're going for stress eating. Situations like opting for alcoholism or opting for more junk foods, easy foods, people do not find reasons to not cook. Now we have a lot of getting foods very fast, and these fast foods are all with a lot of trans fats that are coming in with so much deep fried, and they are just calorie dense, they are never nutrient dense. So opting for such shortcut methods is what is causing the abdominal obesity, that leads which is a clear gateway for a lot of health issues in the near future.
So, great point, Bindu. So, Bindu, then it's like adding more amount of protein. I think we have a solution in Herbalife.
Yes, we do. We do. And that is through our beautiful, beautiful array of products. That is our weight management core. And also, we have something specifically post exercise, also, which I will be sharing shortly
Sure.
about it as well.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I just taking a point of view from where you just spoke about having a sedentary lifestyle, not exercising. We often talk about sedentary lifestyle, urban stress, and we also spoke about the need for doing physical activity, so doing exercise. But Dr. Sanjay and Dr. Bindu, there's another interesting data which says that around 42% of Indian men, they do not engage in any sufficient physical activity. So I'll just quickly just share that interesting data which we got from the various research articles. So this is exactly what I was talking about, the pot belly syndrome, which you beautifully explained. But coming on to this, I think people do not engage in sufficient physical activity, and as a result of which, we know as to where they stand in terms of their overall health. But my question is, I know World Health Organization would have their own guidelines, but this is a question that I would want to ask, that how much of an exercise on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, how much of an exercise is something which is required, is mandatory, which people should be mindful of, that come what may, I have to go. You just need to prioritize. But what is that golden rule? If Dr. Sanjay, if you could throw some light on that.
Okay, so thank you so much, Kapil. One of my favorite topics, of course, exercise. So WHO has, they call it the physical activity requirement, or that below that they think you are inactive. And in a survey in 2021, 45% of South Asian, you're of course quoting Indians, but South Asians are no better. South Asians, 45% of South Asians did not meet the physical activity level. Now, so there are nowadays reports of some people, collapsing in gyms and all that, but that is one extreme. And I would like to say that more people are dying due to lack of exercise than due to exercise, over exercise. Over exercise is, limited to a very small, rare fraction or minority. WHO says that you must do 150 minutes of, moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise. Now, even moderate and vigorous exercise, we are unable to differentiate between. Vigorous exercise, 75 minutes, very few people do, because during vigorous exercise, you should not be able to even speak to the person next to you, right? And the recent recommendation is this is the minimum. What you need to combine this with is 2 or 3 times. So 150 minutes spread over a week, better if it is 300 minutes. You must combine this with about 3 sessions of strength training or resistance training, where you can go to the gym and use dumbbells and barbells, or you can use your own weight. So three sessions of that per week. And of course, somewhere in your weekly routine, you must have flexibility and balance. So that is the minimum that is advised. And as usual, we always overestimate the exercise that we do and underestimate the food that we eat. So exercise, of course, moderation is required, and you need nutrition to support it. I mean, Bindu has just talked about our post-exercise recovery shake, which he will probably talk about. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, it's 5:30 in the evening, and I've already had 2 of my shakes, one after my workout in the morning and one for breakfast, and I'm feeling on top of the world.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Great. Yeah. So, Vitu, this is exactly the point that I wanted to touch upon. So, people, when they exercise, and there is some 20-minute rule that we have, that immediately after 20 minutes of exercise, your body requires a combination of protein and carbohydrate. So, if you can elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yes, sure, Kapil. So basically, what mainly happens is when we are doing our exercises, there will be slight wear and tear of our muscle fibers, right? So at that frame, after the exercise, it is extremely important to have good quality protein. And it's not just protein, it is also carbohydrates, like the simple easily breakable carbohydrates. Now, this combination is very important. And this time frame of having it within 20 to 30 minutes window is important, because at this frame, our muscles are like a sponge. They will absorb each and everything. And that is the reason a very good quality protein, that means something that will be absorbed very easily. The muscles do not need an extra pressure to do or extra workload for absorbing the protein, right? So that is why it's very important. Now, where are we going to get like a good combination of simple carbohydrates and a good quality protein? And when I say good quality protein, it means something like whey, right? And this combination, we are getting it through our rebuild strength. So here we have 24 grams of protein coming from whey and 18 grams of rapid releasing carbohydrates. And the carbohydrates are to relieve our body from the exhaustion that comes from our workout, so that the protein can do its magic of healing our body, repairing our muscles and our muscle tissues, and building it up. So that pair up is beautifully seen in our rebuild shake, in our rebuild strength powder, right? And this has to be taken within 20 to 30 minutes after our workout for its best, results.
Sure. I think it's a very interesting piece of information just shared by you. So very important that people are mindful that within 20 minutes, 30 minutes of exercise, you need to take rebuild strength. And thank you so much, Bindu, on that. But there is one question which has always troubled me, and today on this forum, I think I would want to get more clarity on this. Since we spoke about exercise, and Dr. Sanjay just mentioned also that there are youngsters who collapse in the gym. It could be due to over exercise, not having adequate nutrition. But since we are talking about this topic, I would just want to ask that, is it a fact or is it true that men are more prone to heart disease than women? Because it has been shown that over the past few decades, cardiovascular deaths in India have risen faster amongst men as compared to women. So, what's the possible reason? And yeah, maybe that we are built such in such a way that yeah, there are we are more prone. We're not able to handle stress. A lot of things going on. But again, I leave it to our experts to answer this question.
Yeah, so there would be a number of reasons behind this. Yes, it is true that men get more frequent heart attacks, they get it sooner. The average age at which they get it is lower than women. But there's an interesting statistics which says that women get a more severe first heart attack, even if they get it later than men. And why they get it later than men, of course, one of the reasons is that their menopause, they are protected from heart attacks till menopause. Now, why do men get more heart attacks? I would say number one, they are more prone to stress. So, the average male would have the tag of breadwinner on him. So he has to go and fend for the family. I mean, not every family has a smart woman like Bindu in their amongst their midst. So they need to fend for the family. That is number one. Number two, the things that they adopt to tackle this stress. The most common tools that they adopt to tackle this stress is alcohol and smoking. And alcohol and smoking, both of them are killers for your heart. Alcohol, they do advise if you drink in moderation is fine, but everyone has their own view of moderation. So that is number one. And smoking is absolute no. I mean, if anyone on this call is listening to what I'm saying, you just can't be smoking if you're talking about health. So these two things men are more prone to. They are, of course, smoking more and consuming more alcohol because they think they are more stressed. And the average, male who is getting a job today, whether it's a clerical job, whether it is a managerial job, they're all sitting in their chairs. And that is, the sedentary lifestyle is being promoted on the job, which is actually giving them a lot of poor health. But at the end of the day, they think they've worked a lot, which is more mental than physical.
Absolutely. Like they say that sitting is the new smoking these days.
Absolutely.
So, and my only question is that we know all these factors which are there. It's also to do with the hereditary to some extent. If, say, for example, somebody in my family has had issues with the cardiovascular health, am I more prone in that ways? And further, if I have stress or if I'm leading a sedentary lifestyle, I'm resorting to smoking, drinking, that only aggravates the entire thing, the risk factor for me. That's there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, risk factor of cardiovascular health, there could be some things which are passed down from family to family, like, you could have the tendency to have high triglycerides. But besides that, it is the habits which run in the family. Like, yeah, I mean, people say obesity runs in my family. They actually mean that my family doesn't run.
Right. Total. Bindu, anything you would want to add on to this?
So like how I totally agree with Dr. Sanjay Chore, and the main also the fact that he mentioned that women are protected by her hormones till up till menopause, right? So in the same way, so these are cardioprotective hormones, the estrogen, which protects the women up till they reach menopause, but that does not give them a leeway that they can, um, take their health for granted. I'm not saying to all, I'm saying this to all the women here. It does not mean that you can take your health for granted up till your menopause. That's no. But also, this also helps. It's not only cardioprotective, it's also it helps with their immune system and the also the good cholesterol, building up and restoring the good cholesterol for the HDL. That is the same. Whereas in men, that is not, it doesn't happen that way, right? So that is the reason, as doctor mentioned, he mentioned about how stress factors that puts them into an aspect of opting for smoking, alcoholism. All of these are the factors that come through our habits. It can be through social habits, it can be through any exposure in the first place, right? But all of this can be improved if the men try to work on these habits. Sitting is a new smoking, true, but also there are ways to change it. We have a lot of risk factors in our family, but it is up to us in our hands how it is through our habits we make sure that the risk factors does not impact us to a major extent. We can at least reduce, manage that extent. That is at least through in our hands to a certain extent, right? So one main aspect is what happens is when there's a lot of stress, even the testosterone levels also reduces, which makes them prone to all of these conditions. And that's very, very important for them to see to it that through healthier lifestyle habits, they are making sure that their testosterone levels are also in a good position to protect their body to a certain extent. That's one aspect.
So good point, Bindu. In fact, just taking a cue from this, what you just said, and just now moving the conversation towards a topic which often at times is just hushed under the carpet, brushed under the carpet, because many societies discussions about male sexual and reproductive health, normally it's not considered fine, overshadowed by taboos and societal expectations. But the whole idea today is to break the silence as we aim to prioritize men's well-being. So the question that I have is that when we talk about the testosterone level hormones, I have an interesting finding that I would want to share with everyone. Here we go. All right. It is said that the male sex hormone, that is your testosterone hormone, typically it begins to decline, and which is after the age of 30. So which is a decrease of 1% per year. So by the time a person reaches from 30 to 40, 10% of this male hormone is gone. Now, the bigger question lies is, yes, this is an hormone which is responsible for so many things, and probably both of you can throw some light on this. One more question that I had in my mind is, how do lifestyle factors, like we spoke about a sedentary lifestyle, or say, for example, a poor sleep, because somebody was talking about that if you have a good circadian rhythm, you sleep for a good amount of time, quality sleep, your testosterone level hormones will show an increase. Afternoon, there is a dip. It is at the lowest. So, and even uncontrolled weight, how does it affect men's sexual health and testosterone levels? First, we'll talk about the effect, which is more physical aspect that we are going to touch upon. Then probably we can talk about the mental aspect. Over to you, Dr. Sanjay.
Yeah, so this is one connection that people don't think about. And it is a usual habit for us to think about our health in compartments. They may think I'm obese, but my other things are fine. I am not yet diabetic, I'm not yet hypertensive. Now, the problem is that it is one family, it is one big house, and you let one villain into the house. And what the first thing that villain is going to do is going to open the door for people of his family, which are other villains. Now, this poor sleep, sedentary lifestyle, all these things, the number one thing it will contribute to is fat. And if you have abdominal fat, it does two things technically. Number one, abdominal fat will convert the testosterone into estrogen. So you have lower levels of testosterone. You're right, the testosterone levels go down after the age of 30. I mean, they are going down for everybody. But there are things you can do about it, and there are things you can do to make it worse. Obesity will also depress and affect there is a connection between the brain and the testis, which is, in technically, you don't have to remember the technical terms, but, the hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, which is affected by obesity. So a simple thing like carrying more weight around the belly, it can have far-reaching implications, and one of them is on sexual health. And it will affect your testosterone levels. Further, they're going to drop anyway. And usually, people start noticing the drop after 40, but by the third decade already it would have started.
Just one more thing. Likewise, we have menopause, which is there in women. And when we talk about men, there is a common term that we hear these days on social media, which is andropause, male andropause, which basically describes the age-related decline in testosterone levels in men. While it is not a direct equivalent to female menopause, because it involves a more gradual hormonal decline rather than a sudden stop. But, doctor, it can also lead to a lot of physical, psychological, sexual changes. And can something be done about it? I know this is going to go down, but is there a way? I know good habits, lifestyle, good diet. But is there any way wherein I know, okay, being mindful is one thing, but what would be your suggestion to people who are now concerned about their own sexual health?
Okay, so managing your weight is number one. Number two, if you already have some lifestyle disease, and diabetes is another killer. Diabetes will affect every function of yours, will affect every organ of yours. And unfortunately, India is, we have diabetes is a rampant disease in India, but the way we are aware about it and the way we manage it is very poor. So managing your lifestyle diseases, number one. Number two, you need to be aware that there is something called andropause. Now, the andropause may start for someone at 40, someone at 50. It depends on how you're managing your life otherwise. Because just like you mentioned, everything affects your sexual health. So are you managing your stress? Is your weight under control? Do you have good eating habits? And do you sleep well? Now, sleep is one of the worst parameters as far as I think Indians are doing it tops because we have such cheap internet. We are awake till the wee hours of the night for no reason, for probably increasing the TRPs of some cereal rather than improving your health.
I think very rightly said, doctor. I think I completely agree with you. Managing weight, because if you don't manage your weight, yes, you are giving an invitation to a lot of diseases. The way that you explained with that analogy, wherein it's like one big house, there is one villain that you let it in, and then it's like the whole army of black sheep follows after that villain, which is so true and so relatable what you just said. Bindu, anything that you want to add on this?
Kapil. So basically, like he also mentioned the aspect of sleep, which is a very, very, very underrated factor. But it is also seen that even having one day of less than 6 hours of sleep, it can affect at least 4 years of our lifespan, right? So it also affects our hormones in a huge manner, right? Having this sleep, people take it, they think that it is a fashion, it is something to be proud of, that okay, I'm working so hard, or I'm too active, and I can work on even 4 hours of sleep. But it is a biggest mistake that it's happening, because if we are not sleeping right, our mental functions, our digestive functions, our health, everything goes for a toss, and our hormones are also not working correctly. Also, despite of, even if you are not sleeping correctly, even our muscles are also not gaining that boost, that rebuild that it wants, right? So a lot of people work out more, and they neglect sleep, they neglect food. What happens that time is the muscle wastage happens there, and that is also seen in a lot of men. And as doctor mentioned, that the andropause, the decline in testosterone, happens for some men at the 40s and some men in the 30s. It is not the same like how it is in women. But what men usually neglect in their health is they consider it as like a something that, okay, because of too much work during their between their life, their midlife crisis, they consider it like a midlife crisis kind. And they neglect it. It's like, okay, it is normal for everyone. What they fail to recognize is that it can be because of our habit, their habits as well, which that is one thing that they fail to recognize, and which it is high time for men to even recognize and work upon it to improve the factors.
Sure, Bindu. In the interest of time, I'll just go a bit faster.
Yes.
I know there are some 10-15 minutes remaining,
We are
but
speaking too much.
yes. No, 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 no. So, Dr. Sanjay, and how does it in turn have a effect on the mental well-being and vice versa? It could be both. So,
Okay. Okay. Have you finished your question? Sorry.
so that's the only thing, because normally it's like we talk about the reproductive sexual health and it affecting the mental health, but then it's also vice versa. Maybe that somebody is not able to cope up with stress, more anxious, more anxiety. It can also lead to those effects on their reproductive health.
Okay. So that's a wonderful question, and it has different layers to it. What I mean by different layers is that when you talk about sexual health, it is not something that people talk about. When you talk about mental health, it is not something that people talk about, and the two are so deeply related. I was reading somewhere the other day that it is not manly to seek help. It is not manly to seek help, not manly to seek medical help. It's not manly to seek help for mental uh, conditions, and it is not manly to seek help for sexual health also. So it is a huge taboo, and that is the first obstacle. And of course, once you realize that it is something that needs correction, you will get a lot of professionals to correct it, but you
so just more do not prioritize, they do not prioritize or engage in regular health checkups. So what Bindu was mentioning about people feeling, oh wow, nothing can happen to them. It's like that Superman syndrome. It's like, yeah, I have the power, I can do anything. So men believe that they are invincibles, which is not the case. So they prioritize their work over their health. So I just wanted to ask a simple question in terms of at what age should men start going for preventive health checkups, be it their diabetes, cardiovascular health checkup, or even to do with their prostate? So what is that age by which the signals, the antenna should go up in my head and should tell me, "Hey, couple, now is the time. You need to get this checkup done."
Okay, so that's a good question. There is no exact age at which it is advised, but over 40 definitely is a good time to start getting your preventive health checkups. If there is a history of some lifestyle disease in the family, someone is hypertensive, someone is diabetic, maybe earlier. You need to start earlier. As far as prostate is concerned, you should start getting worried about it after the age of 50. Now, I have a problem with preventive health checkups. Preventive health checkups are done once in a year. And if you don't have a disease, you're not given any advice. So one small thing which you need to do is you need to get onto the weighing scale. See how much you weigh. And there are simple tests that you can do at home, like the string test. Very simple. Measure yourself from the top of your head to your toe. Make it half. See if it goes around your waist. If it doesn't, there's something wrong with you. You need to correct that. Do simple things like, the sitting rising test. There are many simple tests for which you don't have to go to the path lab and which you can do every week, every month.
After listening to you, hearing you and Dr. Bindu say, I just feel that this call should have been for another 2 hours. I think we're just finishing this early and we're just keeping it for 45 minutes to 50 minutes, which is a shame actually, because we have people with so much of expertise and we would want to learn more. I'm sure the audience which is there on the call, let me just see how many of them are listening to us so carefully. So I'm just turning on the emojis. If you could just send a heart to Dr. Sanjay, Dr. Bindu. If you're liking this webinar, we have spoken about some very, very interesting, important topics. And we really wanted to have this hard talk, direct dil se, just to understand what are the issues, how we can safeguard ourselves. So great. I see a lot of hearts. Oh, wonderful. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll just quickly jump on to two more questions. So this is the monsoon season that we have, onset of monsoon in many parts of the country. And there is an evidence which also suggests that men, they face a lot of challenges with respect to gut health. Could be true for women also, but as per the survey which was there, and I was just going through it just to prepare for this webinar, so it also revealed that some 70% of Indians, comprising of both men and women, they fall short of the recommended daily fiber intake. So my question is, how does your poor gut health affect your overall wellness, your immunity, energy levels, mental clarity for that matter? If my gut it's not in good shape, probably I'll not be able to think in a very clear possible way. So, Dr. Sanjay, what's your take on that?
So you're talking about the monsoon season, so there will be some seasonal illnesses which will affect your gut. Let us leave that apart because that will happen from time to time. If you get one infection this year, maybe next year you will get some other. But very few people understand gut health. They think our gut or our intestine is only for digestion. And our intestine has so many important functions. We tend to neglect those. You talked about fiber, and I'll just come to it in a few seconds. Our gut is responsible not only for digestion. Most of our immune cells are parked in our gut. The maximum production of our happy hormones like serotonin happens from our gut. So immunity connected to gut, your mood connected to gut, your digestion connected to gut. It has, that is why today the microbiome, which is actually a colony of bacteria in the gut, is so important. I mean, we are talking about the microbiome. Everyone is jumping onto the probiotic bandwagon, and we have had these wonderful fiber products for. I've been around for 25 years, and we first had one tablet. Now we have a powder. We have the Beta Heart. We have, we have the probiotic. You need to take care of your gut if you want to take care of all the functions that I just mentioned.
Sure. I think Bindu is waiting for her to answer and throw some more light. She heard the name probiotic, good bacteria, bad bacteria. I know she can talk for another 1 hour on this.
Yes, but I'll keep it really short. So basically, gut health is extreme. As Dr. Sanjay Chaurya mentioned, the gut health is extremely important and it's linked to every aspect of our body's health. It's linked to the health of all our systems. In the same, like how it is linked to with our immunity, it is also linked with our cardiovascular health as well. And that is because the good bacteria, and when we are getting a good fiber rich diet into our system, our inflammation parameters are also reduced. The metabolites that are getting produced, the waste management also happens well. The good cholesterol improves and the bad cholesterol is also under control. Like how we mentioned when we come to our product called Beta Heart, where the oats beta glucan helps in supporting the normal levels of the triglycerides. It does not let it go up. In the same way, we also have our activated fiber, our active fiber complex, which is very, very important in our digestive abilities also, and indirectly it supports our gut health. In the same way, like how doctor mentioned about the probiotics, right? So we have a lot. In the past we've been having a lot of probiotics, but why is our simply probiotic really good? Because bacteria that is coming in from the good bacteria that is coming in through curds and all, it need not necessarily reach its destination organs, that is our intestines, where the good bacteria resides. Whereas the simply probiotic, the bacteria, bacillus that is coming in from our simply probiotic, they are heat resistant, they are acid resistant, and they can reach the intestines where the bacteria resides and improve its health. And that is our main motive. Once the good bacteria health is improved, then our body also responds in a much more better fashion by absorbing nutrients, reducing our inflammatory markers, and supporting the health of all our systems. That's one aspect which I would definitely want to include.
So next session is gonna be on digestive health,
Yes.
Bindu. And
Yes.
Dr. Sanjay, I would again rope you in for that. I know you have so much to say on that. But jate jate, chalte chalte, before we leave, I would just want to know uh, if you had to suggest some 2 to 3 simple daily habits that could transform men's health over the next decade, what would it be?
Very simple. I mean, 3 tips, 6 words. Uh, Eat right, weigh right, exercise right. Just these 3 things. Eat right, weigh right, exercise right. It's not about a product or some tool. It is about the philosophy.
So
Yeah.
we started this call with achar, vichar, vihar, ahar, and now coming down to 3 things, which is eat right, weigh right, exercise right. And in Herbalife, we do it right.
Yes.
Right. Great. So, Bindu, anything that you would want to add?
So, like Dr. Mentioned, exercise, eat, and weighing right. Also, along with that, one more pointer that I would like to mention is sleep right, also. The
Ah,
quality of our sleep is very, very important. And when Sir mentioned about exercise, please remember, exercise also helps with not only improving our muscles, but also building up our testosterone also, right? Our serum testosterone levels improve, and that's how our muscles also improve in men, right? So make sure you're not missing out on these four pillars. That is, eat right, weigh right, and exercise right, but also sleep right. So, along with that, as you all know, we have our sleep enhance, which improves our sleep and enhances our sleep quality. So, remember, it's all about quality than quantity. That's one thing that I would like to say.
Great. Great. So, with this, I know it's time. If I had an option, I would have continued this with Dr. Sanjay and Dr. Bindu. Believe you me, I am having a lot of fun, and all the audience who's there on this call, I'm sure you would have gained a lot of valuable insights. So, firstly, thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay Chore, Bindu Shri, for taking the time to join us and sharing your valuable insights on this very important topic. It's a neglected topic, but a very important one. And your perspective, definitely, it helps shed a lot light on a lot of overlooked aspects of men's health. And I'm sure it would have encouraged a lot of us to think more proactively about our own wellness. Thank you so much. And
Thank you
yeah,
so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you for
Dr.
having me
Chaure.
pleasure.
on
Thank you
this.
so much, Kapil.
Thank you. Thank you once again. And yeah, I'll just quickly turn on the emojis icon. And if people, you love this webinar, please click on the heart emojis. Dr. Sanjay Chaure just spoke about a lot of aspects. One of them was heart health. So please, please, please show a lot of love by sharing the heart emojis. One, click on the link that we have shared, and you can please give us your feedback. This session is getting recorded. It will be soon posted on My Herbalife. You can again view this session. You can share it with your organization members, people who have not been able to join onto this call. But if you ask me, I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you so much once again. Stay blessed and eat right, weigh right, exercise right, sleep right. All the best. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It was a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.